Do you remember how long you were in the unit?
Yes, I've been in the third now for about 9 weeks, 10 weeks actually.
And how how would you say that your experience in the Third Marine Division has been?
It's been fantastic. It's been quite a learning experience for me. I didn't know a whole lot about Arma or Discord or anything like that when I got here, but it's been fantastic. It's been a great experience.
How did you meet the Third Marine Division?
I just started playing Arma, and I ran into a couple of members of Third Marine in a vanilla server, I think they call. And I noticed they were working together as a team, and that was something I was just naturally drawn to. So I started running with them, and then I found out, that they indeed were members of the third.
What would you say that your how would you explain your first operation with the Third Marine Division?
My first operation with the Third Marines was overwhelming. For me personally, it was so much. It was so you have to understand that being a civilian coming in off the street, I kind of didn't know what to expect. I played video games before, and I kind of gravitated away from stuff like COD and even Battlefield kind of started moving towards COD. So it's kind of was getting out of my wheelhouse, so to speak. And I wanted to experience this military simulation, which was more in-depth experience. But I had no idea just how intense and in-depth it was. It was a very chaotic experience, but it left a tremendous impression on me, and I knew that I wanted more of that. So I knew right away I liked it.
So WarDog, how old are you again?
I'm 60 years of age.
And folks, that just goes to show that you can in fact teach an old dog new tricks.
You sure can, and I have learned a tremendous amount about military tactics and operations, and many other things for that matter in the last 10 weeks.
You want to tell me a little bit about how or what you learned while you were in the Third Marine Division Milsim?
Wow, I could write a book on all the stuff I've learned in the last 10 weeks here. And that's one of the things that makes the experience so fantastic for me on a personal level, I should say. I'm really into learning and gaining new knowledge and training and stuff like that. And we have a fantastic training program here in the third, and that's something I'm really fired up about. So I've been able to take all kind of different courses and training on any number of subjects from mountain warfare school to something I'm very proud of course, is sapper training. I'm a combat engineer qualified, recon certification. I've taken leadership courses and just have an opportunity to do so much more in the coming weeks also because there is so much training involved. And one of the cool things about the training here, you get to apply what you learn in the missions that they develop and design for us to execute. They incorporate the need to have that knowledge. So it all blends together and makes a really tremendous experience. It makes learning fun too.
So, what is it that you do in the 3rd Marine Division? And what are some of the things that you have done, like schools, uh, side events, whatever it may be?
Sure. Well, I'm a 0313 and Marine Corps talk, that's LAV crewman. I'm proud to say. That's something I have a lot of passion for. I've previously been a 0331 machine gunner, and I'm qualified as a 1371 combat engineer. I have trained as an infantry team leader. I have trained a little bit as a Cobra gunner, which is very exciting. I've had opportunity to train on so many different things. It's been really I don't even know where to start. Let's try to think in like in chronological order. Quickly, if I may borrow you for a minute here. I'm trying to think back. I know that I had recon certification, combat engineer certification, mountain warfare school, qualified sharpshooter. I've had let's see, basic leadership course. I've had senior leadership course, uh, and other things. Uh, close quarters combat training, and just so many things. It would take me a minute. I'd have to start writing them down to keep up with all of them. It's very exciting. I do love the training.
Well, it sounds like you've had a lot of fun in the unit. Uh, how about your relationship with the other members of the Milsim?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because as good as the mission stuff is and the training, which I'm all about that, and I love that. I really do. But to me, the single best thing is the camaraderie, the fraternity, the brotherhood. I know that these Marines I serve with, they're my brothers. And I know they got my back. And that's why they know they can count on me to have their back too. And that's something that money can't buy or whatever. That's a trust thing. That's something you have to earn. And that's something that's important. These people are my family. This is the brotherhood. I belong. And I would do anything for my brothers. I'll never quit them. That's the best thing about it to me.
Well, it sounds like you've got a good bond with the other members of the Milsim,
I
and it
do.
sounds like you guys get along.
We do. We get along pretty good. Well, it's like brothers. Sometimes brothers don't get along. We have our little disagreements, stuff like that, but it's water under the bridge. We're all about the bigger picture and trying to, you know, improve each other. I mean, iron sharpens iron. You have to be critical of each other sometimes to get better or whatever. We all kind of understand that, and we all try to work, where we provide positive feedback to each other and constructive criticism instead of just being, belly aching or something. Try to do things in a way where we can learn from our mistakes and do better next time out.
I love to hear it. Next question. Trying to find a way to put this. So, coming from somebody your age, there's not a lot of people your age or even younger that tend to play video games. Uh, the common thing across all of gaming is why don't you go play outside? But when it comes to milsim units, something that I see a lot of are people saying, why don't you just go enlist? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think enlisting is necessarily for everyone. Like somebody in my position, I had every intention of listening into the military until I was 12 years of age and got run over by a motorboat. Now, I kind of walk funny, so I could never go join. Even though my father was special operations and it was something that was important to me, I couldn't go join. So even if I was in the correct age group, in the correct demographic, I still wouldn't be eligible to join. So not everyone can join the military, but if you like that type of experience with, the brotherhood I was talking about and the in-depth strategy and the tactics and the training and all that stuff, the military simulation like this is fantastic. It is an absolute fantastic opportunity for someone like me and lots of other people that's maybe in a similar position.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I know for me, it's more about, it's the, it's something fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's an intense amount of fun. It's hard work too, if you try really hard. And that's the one thing I like to work hard at things. And it's very rewarding. Being in the third, it's the more you apply yourself, the more you get out of it. And I really like that aspect of it.
How do you feel about the leadership in Third Marine Division?
I'm glad you asked because I was about to kind of try to work this in earlier. I feel we have very strong leadership. We're not a very big operation right now, but we're growing, and I've had a chance to get to know, and it's a good thing because, like I say, I have get chance to get to know some of the leaders on a personal level, and we got some really good people here in the third, and I think I'm in a fortunate situation, and I'm grateful to be a member and have an opportunity to participate in something that's so cool. And our leaders, they some of them they got a military background, some maybe not, but that's not important. The important thing is they have strong leadership skill, and we have some really good leaders, and that's one of the things that makes the Third Marine so strong is our good leadership.
So that's awesome to hear, and I'm sure they definitely strive. I don't think any leadership is perfect, but I'm glad that the leadership that you have has made an impression on you.
Well,
Last
it sure
question.
has.
That's good. And it always makes things more enjoyable. Last question I have here is kind of poking back at your age a little bit. Uh, Kind of that. It's not dad, but this isn't a guy that's older than me that I can listen to, and that I can hear. Uh, if somebody's thinking about getting into milsims, but they're not quite sure, maybe their friends are telling them it's a little nerdy or weird, whatever, what be it. What would you have to say to them?
Oh, well, first off, different strokes for different folks. I'm not going to criticize someone if they don't want to join, but they have no business criticizing me if I wish to join. I very much enjoy being a part of this military simulation. The Third Marines is one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, just from the camaraderie that I spoke of earlier, to just being able to participate in complex military operations in a multi-domain combat environment that's been pre-planned and well thought out and allows people to utilize the training that they worked so hard to participate in and learn from. It's a fantastic opportunity. And if somebody doesn't want to be involved in that, it doesn't bother me. But for someone to criticize somebody for wanting to be part of something that fantastic is would be mind-boggling to me. I can think of lots of good reasons to be involved in the Third Marine.
So, what would some of those good reasons be for somebody who's wanting to get into milsims, but their friends are kind of discouraging them?
Well, I guess the peer pressure thing. Uh, so I guess some people would try to portray it as being kind of a nerdy thing or whatever. I would look at it like this: if you like stamp collecting and your friends told you it was nerdy, would you stop stamp collecting? Uh, I wouldn't. Do your friends have that much influence over you? Then you might be a weak individual with a lack of strong willpower. That's what I would protest. So, what I would suggest to anybody that's worried about what their friends might think is for you to go get you a set of friends that would encourage you to follow the endeavors that that you have passion for. Not friends that roll their nose up or, raise a suspicious brow at the types of activities that you like to participate
Are you a stamp collector, WarDog?
I do not collect stamps,
Oh.
but it's not because my friends don't think it's cool.
You were just oddly specific about that. I figured I'd ask. I was gonna ask what your
Well,
favorite stamps were.
no, it's just an analogy that popped in my head. There could be any hobby or pastime. It could be model airplanes, or maybe I like to play with Legos, whatever. You know,
And I was lying. I do have one more question I would like
one
to
more.
ask you.
I'll allow another.
Your your peers often refer to you as the how do I put this? The positive thinker. What do you have to
I
say
do,
about that?
I do like to put a positive spin on things. You know, I'll give you a deep answer for that one. I think it's a life thing, man. Like, I'm gonna give you one of these back in the day things. Like, the way I was raised and stuff, times wasn't always good. There were some challenging times, and you have to be able to reach down sometimes, deep down inside, and pull some hope out, man. You got to learn how to see the positive in things. You can walk around life, you know, bitching and belly aching about every little thing that ain't going your way, and this ought to be that way, and I don't understand, and I get all that. But in the long run, there ain't no point in all that. All you doing is hurting yourself. You ruining your own peace. The best thing somebody can do is just find their own peace and do their own thing and not worry about all that other stuff.
I always love hearing your answers, WarDog. I, for one, definitely can say that you know how to turn a relatively bad situation and put something positive on it, and that's what I appreciate about you. I want to thank you for doing this interview, WarDog, and you have a good night.
Well, I appreciate your time you took to talk to me this evening, and I appreciate you as well, and I hope you have a good evening too.